thing.
Okay, so Miguel, I want to give him the reason I want to see if I fully understand what he's saying here, because I think I actually agree with him a little bit. He says you need to look at the word salvation too. Okay, now this is one thing I think Miguel has hit the nail on the head, and the reason why is because, and I'll get flack for this, I'm sure, but in the Christian church, I should say, in much of the Christian church, when you say you're saved by faith, okay, what is salvation? Salvation is a multifaceted, right? We have justification as part of salvation, sanctification as part of salvation, right? Repentance is part of salvation, right. And as we've talked about on this show before, repentance and sanctification are both ongoing works, right? We continue to be sanctified unto God, and we continue to seek repentance throughout our life. So salvation is not, and I've hit on this just a very little bit in the past couple of shows. It's not this just once in your lifetime, boom, I said this prayer and salvation has happened. So justification happens, and I'm not positive, but I think this is what Miguel is attempting to convey here, is that obedience is part of salvation. And in that, I would agree. Justification, however, is something that happens once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
You're justified.
Can I share a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
In our local community here, we've been reading through the Gospel of John this year. So every year we read through like a Gospel or Acts or whatever. This year we're in John. So we're reading in John. And this is one of the weeks where we read a bunch about Peter. Well, Yeshua says, I'm going to wash your feet. Peter's already been justified, right? Peter is saved. Okay, now people might say, well, Peter's not saved yet because it's not Acts 2, etc. No, Peter is no one can pluck Yeshua or pluck Peter out of Yeshua's hands at this time. And if you want to debate that, then I don't even know if I want to have a conversation. But what does he say?
Right?
You're not gonna wash my feet. You're not gonna wash my feet. And Yeshua says, well, unless I wash your feet, you have no part in me. Well,
sure.
He accepts that. He had his zealous runs, but what does he do? He peeks the other way. Boom, I want you to wash all of me. And he's like, no, not that either. In other words, you have the steady voice of the Lord, and you have Peter, who's already saved. I mean, he's justified.
Sure.
But he's still being calibrated. Later on, he's like, Lord, why can't I go with you now? I'll lay down my life for you. And he's like, will you really? You're going to deny me. Then in the garden, he pulls out his knife and he cuts off an ear of the high priest's servant. Okay. And Yeshua says, okay, he heals the guy's ear and he says, look, so here we go. We got to love Peter because we all have a little bit of Peter in us, right? Where the Lord, we're justified, but he's discipling us. He's training us to hear his voice and to discern his word, and then to shut up about trying to run with it. Right? And run ahead or run to the left or run to the right. Peter's our example, one of many examples. Jonah's another example from Tanakh, of course. But the idea is someone who's like, okay, you're mine. No one's going to pluck you out of my hand. But that doesn't mean you're mature. That doesn't mean you're fully fruitful. You're going to be pruned, right, etc.
Sure.
And you're going to grow more and more into the joy of the Lord. And so that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. Paul uses the word justification, dikaiosune, as that initial act that is of God, that is the newborn. In James, he talks about receive the implanted word, right? That is God making you a new creation. That's fulfilling the prayer of David, create in me a clean heart, right? Lev tahor barali Elohim, right?
Yes.
And that's, you're just before him. How is that? Because that new life that he gives us that's the life of Yeshua. That's Yeshua's resurrection life. That's the life of the Son of God, right? That's how you call God Father.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video so other people can see it. And also, if you haven't already, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just hover over this round thing below me and then click the red button that says subscribe. That way, you'll never miss another video from The Rob and Caleb Show.